Hi, I just wanted to show you a little bit about setting up your portfolio. Um, First, as I said in the assignments, you've got this finishing up the semester that kind of walks you through the things you need to do between now and the end of the semester. Um, the most important due date here is um, next Thursday, December 15th at 8 p.m. Your portfolio should be up on your blog essentially there and ready to go. I'm going to go in and I'll go through all my students, and what I do is create a roster, a list of names, and then links to the people's portfolios. Um, so I want to be able to give myself a little bit of time in the evening to get that done. So you can still get in and make some minor changes Thursday evening and first thing in the morning on Friday morning. But they'll start reading the portfolios about 9 o'clock in the morning, so I would stop as of then. Um, a number of you have gotten your essay 4 drafts up. I'm working on getting feedback to those as soon as I can, hopefully by tomorrow. Um, so once you get some feedback from your essay 4 draft, you'll need to decide which pieces you want to put in the portfolio. I did include a link here to the rubric that the readers will use when they're evaluating your portfolio. So your pieces should illustrate your ability to do all those things. And it goes through that. If you look at I won't click open the rubric, but it talks about focus and development and logic and research skills and usage issues, general sorts of things. So you want to make sure that the pieces that you put in there demonstrate that. Um, the place where you live, notice that is not one of the ones that you have available. Um, Essay 3, you may want to consider whether it sufficiently demonstrates your writing ability, depending on whether you chose to write a report or do an infographic or some other more visual media. Um, those 3 essays plus a cover letter need to be done and up on the blog by Thursday. That may leave you with one essay that still needs to be graded, whether it's a final draft of essay 4 or something that you missed during the course of the semester. So I'll give you until Thursday on the 22nd to get that to me. I have a list here of things, sort of a best bang for your buck, um, things to focus on, fairly quick to do, but significant, I think, in terms of improving your essays. There's information, again, up at the top of the blog here under this revision issues if you're interested in doing more than sort of a minimum here. Focus on the essays is, I think the other two are fairly self-explanatory, but focus, be talking about the clarity and specificity of your thesis statements as the focus of the whole essay. You won't necessarily have a thesis statement for every essay. Essay 1 probably doesn't have a thesis statement, and essay 3 probably doesn't, but 2 and 4 should have thesis statements. And then focus at the paragraph level. And the thing to look for in my comments on your final draft is a comment something like, what's the main idea here? That indicates that as I was reading the paragraph, it seemed as if the main idea wasn't apparent, or that perhaps there were several main ideas at work in the paragraph, so that you needed to clarify the main idea or perhaps split paragraphs apart. Think about the order of the pieces in your portfolio. The cover letter is going to come first. Generally, the advice we give is to put the essays with your strongest at the front. So the second piece in the portfolio. The reason for this is that many of the portfolio readers will be reading more slowly at the beginning of your portfolio, and then once they start to be confident in your writing ability, they may start to skim. So you want to make sure that when they're paying their most attention to your writing, that's when they're seeing your best work. The cover letter, once you do work through the revisions, I'd suggest holding off on the cover letter until you get the revisions done or essentially done. The cover letter assignment is here. Note that there are some sample cover letters. from students. There are 3 of them here, and I'm going to add a few more. So if you check back a little later, there may be more than 3. Generally speaking, I put cover letters from students who got passed with distinction, not necessarily as models. You don't necessarily have to write essays, letters that are quite as long as these, but I think they do give you, may give you some good ideas about how to develop those body paragraphs where you're talking about each of the 3 essays and what it demonstrates about your ability as a writer. So I would strongly encourage you to check out these essays, these cover letters. They also will help give you some ideas for what you might say in your first paragraph and in your concluding paragraph in your letter. Okay, so the main thing I wanted to do here in the video is show you how I'd like to set your portfolio up on the blog, and I'm going to do it on this course blog and walk you through the steps. The only slightly tricky thing about getting the portfolio up is making sure that the pieces are in the right order. And of course, when you post something and then you post something else, the first thing is going to drop down to the bottom. So in essence, you want to post things in reverse order. It is possible to go around and mess around with the posting dates to get things to move around, but it seems to me, and maybe not everybody thinks the way I do, but it seems to me the easiest way to do this is to set up a skeleton for your blog, for your portfolio, with the 4 pieces there, and have them as blank posts and just get them up. And then once you get the pieces revised, you can put those revised versions into those new posts. The posts that for your portfolio should be posts without any comments. So you don't want to be linking to your rough drafts or to final drafts that may have comments. It's even if you get duplication, the easiest thing to do is just to do a new post with that, bright, shiny, polished new draft. So what I do, I'm gonna go and create some posts here. So I'm gonna do new post and wait a minute for my internet to catch up. Okay, now this is going to be the third essay in the portfolio. It's not necessarily essay 3 or essay 4. It could be the first essay that you did. So I'll just call it third essay. Now you're not going to say third essay in the final draft of your portfolio. What I would like you to have instead of third essay is some kind of title. So whoops, I can't type very well. Going home again. I don't know, something like that. Suppose this is essay 1. I would encourage you, if you didn't do so in your rough draft or your final draft, I'd encourage you to come up with descriptive titles for the essays rather than just memoir or whatever it is. That's a good way to focus the essay. It's a good way to engage your reader. And it also gives you a way to refer to the essay when you're talking about it in your cover letter. The portfolio readers also ask for some information about which assignment each essay matched with. So if you go, I'm going to go back here to the blog. What I'd suggest that you do is in parentheses after the essay title, either put the essay number or this genre. So either essay 1 or memoir, if that's presumably what this is. Whatever. You don't have to put both of those, but one. And then once you get the essay finished, I'll get rid of that. That's just a sort of reminder. Now the next thing you're going to do is tag the essay. So what I want you to do is to create a category called portfolio. Now I've already done it here because I've done this demonstration a bunch of times on this blog, but what you should see is just uncategorized. So you'd click on add new category and you type portfolio there, and then portfolio is going to show up here. And then once it shows up, it may automatically check it or check it if it didn't automatically check it. And then you can go ahead and publish this. This is just so you can see how it looks on your blog. Of course, the post is going to be blank. And I'm going to go through this a couple more times. And I'll put a second essay. And then again, I'll have a title. And then some kind of essay, whatever it is. And then I'll click portfolio, and I'm going to go ahead and publish that. Sometimes when you're trying to do a bunch of posts in a row, it might give you an error message and say you have to wait. You can't post that quickly. So we'll see if that happens to me. Not yet. First essay. And I put this in portfolio and publish it. And then I'm going to do another post for the cover letter, which is going to be the first thing in the portfolio. Now I'm going to, just for illustrative purposes, suppose I forgot to check portfolio here. I'll show you how you'll fix that. Okay, now if you go to the blog and look at it, you'll see those 4 posts. If I click on this portfolio here, what this does is filter out, so it's selecting just the essays that have been tagged portfolio. It creates a new URL. So this is the URL that I'm going to be able to give to the portfolio reader. So what they're going to get is a Word file that has the roster of the names of the students who've completed portfolios, hyperlink to your portfolio. So they're just going to see these finished, polished essays. They're not going to see that you have, 16 versions of the essays below. They're not going to see comments. They're not going to see the beginning stages. They're just going to see those essays. Now, I forgot to put the portfolio tag on, or category on, the cover letter. So to fix that, I can just go back to the dashboard and go into my list of all posts. And what you can do is that you can see here, portfolio, 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 uncategorized. So you can do a quick edit here, and I'm going to change this from uncategorized to portfolio and update it. And then now when I go to outside of the blog and click on this portfolio tag, I'm just getting the essays I want. For some of your themes, you may, that the categories may show up here, and you may be able to click on them in the margin. That raises another issue that I just wanted to mention. I have in the past had some complaints from some isolated old fuddy-duddy English teachers about the legibility of the blogs. Most people seem happy to read on the blogs, and they just have to click in this one, click on the link, and they get all the essays. And a lot of you have nice color pictures, and that sort of livens it up. Some of the blog templates, though, are a little not as readable as others. I would look for something that's nice and clear. You may want to consider changing your theme. So again, that's if you go back into themes here. I'll try to make some suggestions on the blogs of the people who have themes that seem a little unreadable. If the type is too small, or if sometimes with the dark background and the white type, it's a little difficult to read. I'd look for something sort of clean and crisp and clear. And you can look at all the different themes and check them out on your blog. But another way to do it may be to look on some of the other people's blogs, and then you can see the theme that they used if you want to find a nice, clean, clear one. Also, some of the people had picked themes where you just get, rather than getting the whole post, you just get a few lines of the post, and then you have to click on something else to get the full post. You may want to think about switching to a theme where you get the entire post with just one click. Just because it's going to be a long day for these people reading the portfolios, and you want to make things as easy as you can for them. Okay, so I think that's all I have to say. If you have any questions, again, feel free to add some questions to this. Now it's down here, to this finishing up the semester post, or if you have, if it's a general kind of question, a couple people already posted some that I answered. Um, but if you have a specific question about your own writing that where you don't think the answer would be pertinent to other people, feel free to send me an email. I will be in my office from roughly 11 on until 4 or 5 or so in the afternoon next week. So if anybody happens to be on campus and wants to stop by to get some immediate face-to-face feedback, feel free to do that. My office is in the library, so that it does work out well for sometimes when students are polishing up portfolios, they can come and check in with me and then pop out, find a place at the library to either with a laptop or hop on one of the computers there, and do some editing and then come back and check in with me. What I would like to, as people get their portfolios up and finished, if you let me know when your portfolio is ready to go, I would like to be able to, send you an email back to give you the thumbs up that everything looks fine, or if there is some, hopefully minor issue, I want to be able to, get in touch with people and get them to fix those. So do keep an eye on your email next week towards Wednesday or Thursday. Um, uh, Sometimes what happens, sometimes people forget to put a works cited or something like that. Um, if you are using SA3 for your portfolio, remember to put both halves of it. So have your report or whatever it is you did for that summary part, and then your annotated bib in the same post. Remember to put a works cited for SA2 if you use that. If there are any other thoughts that come to mind, I'll either add it as an addendum with a big red type here that lets you know that it's added information, or I'll send you an email. Otherwise, good luck. Looking forward to seeing your finished work. Every semester, it always pleases me to see everybody get their work together and polished, and I always end up proud of the work people do and hope you feel the same. All right, good luck with the end of the semester.